Why Cambodia? I love the people, such wonderful people. And another part of it is I see what they went through the Khmer Rouge days and the aftermath. And I see a special challenge for the people here. And so I feel I want to donate my time, both my time and my money, to someplace where I believe a real difference can be made and where there's a real fundamental need.
It's the people, their history. It just really speaks to me. I can walk in here, everybody's always so kind. The culture has despite this terrible past, they have this happy gentleness about them. And you cannot but love them. And they reciprocate tenfold. Good, awesome, because you can.
We're here to facilitate some training with the staff at Sustainable Cambodia. Both of us have a fair bit of knowledge that we'd like to pass on to others. How many of you are making a list every day? So we're helping them with some business type training and time management training this year. How to effectively use your personal time with the organization. How to conduct meetings efficiently, business skills, HR skills, because they really haven't had anybody to mentor them on those skills. And we really see that as a challenge in Cambodia.
We've identified 3 communes, those are small communities, in 2 of the districts that are adjacent to this area, where there's a huge need to look at what kind of education is being delivered and to make that education more realistic. Because even though the kids go to school, believe it or not, by grade 6, there's a 60% rate of illiteracy. Kids have been going to school for 6 years. How come they can't read and write after 6 years? We really need to look at the kind of education they're getting. Their resources are very minimal, and there have been NGOs who have created really interesting and colorful and engaging materials, as well as establishing what we call peer-to-peer tutoring or youth clubs that help kids help each other. Because often kids have to stay home because they have to help with another child at home, or they have to help in the field and they fall behind at school. Dropout rates are really high as well. So the project, the education portion of the project, will look at assisting those schools and those communities in the areas adjacent to here.
One of the other issues at many of the schools that we're looking at is the availability of water, and in particular drinkable water. Many of them, one of the schools we visited outside of the rainy season has no water supply at all, period. So the kids, A, have no latrines to go in, nowhere to wash their hands, and nothing to drink. A real issue when they're expected to be at school when it's 32 degrees all day and sunny. And so that's what the other project's going to go. So in the same schools, to improve the overall, first of all, the teaching and education capabilities, and then the environment at the school, in particular around water and sanitation.
Sustainable Cambodia is a local NGO. It's registered here in Cambodia, and it was started by some people out of Florida, Rotarians, and they are involved to a very large extent in improving the educational system of the people in the Prasad area here, and also in community development. The education component is really large because the philosophy is the future of this country rests on improved education, and that's where it puts its main emphasis. My own personal interest has been in the community development side of things, and I've spent most of my time there. They are a very, very well-meaning organization which takes the philosophy, we don't feed people, we teach them to fish. We don't give them the fish, we teach them to fish. And that is the underlying philosophy.
One of the villages we visited, well, last year and again this year, is Prey Mao, a small village, fairly remote, that Rotary Calgary has done what's called a global grant. The project's just finishing. What we saw was how people really were impacted, how their lives were impacted for the better. One of the farmers that we visited this year, his crops were amazing. He had a number of crops in that were going to harvest at different times that he took to the village and sold in the village. We saw the pond for water, storing water for, not for drinking, but for irrigating the crops over the dry season. We saw the latrine that was built, however, he built the outside of the latrine. It was part of the Rotary project. What we also saw there was a biosand filter that they use every day. And it's made a huge difference on their lives, both economically. They make a lot more money growing vegetables and selling them at the market than they ever did growing rice. They grow a small amount of rice still, not much. The other big impact that the farmer was talking about was to his children's health and his own and his wife's health. Huge impact by being able to drink clean water.
Being a father of my family, I feel very happy and very proud to get a project from Sustainable Cambodia because I could provide safe drinking water to all my children. I could provide enough food to them. The members of my community is like my family. We all have clean water to drink. We have the clean water from the well to use all year round, and we have the latrine to use, and we have the pond to grow vegetable, and we have the animal pass on to help us grow the food security, and we have the self-help group that we can borrow and share the loan with the family who need it. So all of these can help my family and my community to improve it, to improve our life a lot.
For a man to be able to assist his family to apply those tools, and one particularly who understands that he should send his children to get educated, that's back to the stay in school thing, then that's a very successful family. And you couldn't imagine him being prouder. That's what we do, right, as parents.
The building behind me is a computer lab that Carpenters for Cambodia and my Rotary Club partnered on. Got some funding from Rotary. Carpenters for Cambodia likes to build things, so we decided to build this building for them. Computers being as important as they are in our world today, they really needed a good place to learn computer skills to really give them a leg up, I guess. All right, see if we got it this time. Every